Thank you, Madam Chair. Our organization, Eco-Spirituality Foundation, is mainly aimed at defense of indigenous peoples' traditional knowledge and sacred lands. The Eco-Spirituality Foundation represents 6 indigenous communities through official mandates, and today we stand before this assembly to deliver a joint appeal on behalf of the indigenous communities that we represent, communities that highlight emblematic cases of violations of indigenous peoples' spiritual rights. The first case regards the Apache San Carlos, Arizona. On official charges received by Ola Casador, president of Apache Survival Coalition, we appeal in defense of Mount Graham, the maximum sacred site of Apache, desecrated and jeopardized by the construction of an international astronomical observatory of immense controversy. This project is undertaken along with the University of Arizona by the Vatican and the Arcetri Observatory of Italy, funded by the Italian government. Despite the 18 years of Apache protests, despite the numerous appeals and the vast support of both indigenous and non-indigenous organizations worldwide, Mount Graham continues to be both desecrated and put at risk, whilst the Apaches continue to be deprived of their sacred land. All of the Western Apache tribes have united together in this protest. They have met many times with the Forest Service for the enlistment of the mountain in the National Register of Historic Places, but without success, despite the fact that the site has all the necessary requirements for registration. Our second case regards the Wemba Wemba Nation of the Native Australians that includes the clans of Victoria and South Wales of Australia. Gary Murray, president of the Wirram Aboriginal Corporation and of the Wemba Wemba Nation, has been the promoter of an effort for the recovery of the Wemba Wemba ancestral remains spread throughout many of the world's museums. Much of these remains have not yet been obtained, and the Wemba Wemba Nation strongly seeks to reclaim its ancestors' remains. Another emblematic case regards the Bassa people of Cameroon. By official mandate of its spokespersons, Samuel Bryce Chombe, we appeal for the 12 tribes of the mountain Ngogli Tuba, so that the Bassa people can be helped to defend its maximum sacred land and freely exercise its spiritual and cultural rights. The Bassa people denounce the desecration of their natural and spiritual sanctuary by the Roman Catholic Church that over a decade ago placed the cross and the statue of the Virgin Mary on the mountaintop. Our final case regards an indigenous European community that is currently impeded in the exercise of its free spiritual identity. Europe is also home to indigenous people that have similar traditions to other natives around the world. But the majority was destroyed by the historical power. In France, at Carnac, Brittany, there is a traditional community that can't openly practice its spiritual identity. The megalithic complex of Carnac, sacred site for the Breton community, has been fenced off by the French government for over 17 years, which plans to transform the site into a museum. Through the charge received by Céline Marie, president of the organization Menhir Libre, we appeal to this forum so that this native community may regain the right to use the megalithic complex of Karnak as spiritual reference. The violation of an indigenous people's sacred land is a severe peril to its identity. We firmly believe that every people has the right to preserve their traditional knowledge and spiritual beliefs. Therefore, we make the following recommendations to the Permanent Forum. 1. Urge states to support indigenous peoples to defend their traditional knowledge and sacred lands in agreement to the principle of the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, with precise reference to Article 11. 2. Strongly solicit UNESCO to include Mount Graham, the megalithic site of Karnak, and the sacred mountain Gog Lituba in the World Heritage Registers. 3. Strongly recommend the World Intellectual Property Organization to safeguard the above-mentioned sacred sites as cultural heritage. And 4. Urge European states to return the ancestral human remains, spiritual properties and cultural artifacts kept in European museums of the Wemba Wemba nation and of the Bassa people in agreement to the principle of the Declaration on the Right of Indigenous Peoples, with precise reference to Article 12. In conclusion, we believe that identity of native people to be based on their traditional knowledge. It is in these roots that they find reference to their history and spirituality. Without these roots, the identity of indigenous peoples would disappear, taking with it the hope of peace and brotherhood for all humanity. Thank you, Madam Chair.